thank you for doing the banquet and stepping up. I enjoyed it a lot. You mentioned during your presentation that you were going through all of this material that you had written down in your books and were overwhelmed, and it was an overwhelming amount of material.
It really was. I mean, I took a subset of the material, really, and so there's a lot more than that, obviously, and a lot more detail, a lot more technical detail.
And they're all in the book. You should buy a copy.
They're all in the book, and you should buy a copy. Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome.
Buy 3 copies. I thought 3 books. But when you asked me could I step in and do the banquet speech, I thought, okay, that will probably take about. Let me see, and I started going through what I needed to include, and what I didn't have space to. And I thought, that's going to be at least. Actually, I thought it'd be at least an hour and a half. That's far too long for a talk, especially when someone's eaten. They want to just socialise afterwards.
AAA fun.
AAA fun. So I thought, okay, I'll cut it down to about 25, 30 minutes. I think it ran about that sort of time, didn't it? Maybe a little longer.
I wasn't timing. I don't know. No, we can go back and look at the tape, though.
But it was interesting that I was looking around as I was doing the presentation, and people seemed actually genuinely interested. And I was really keen to get the message across, because we have a number of people here that worked with Amigas years ago, were the original developers, and they've no idea what they spawned, right?
Yes.
They've no idea. And everyone thinks it's dead, and it's all about court cases and legal things. It's not. It's about the community and what they're working on. And walking around the show the last couple of days, there is room for another book. I'm not writing one, right?
You've said that many, many, many times.
There's so much
right now happening now.
Yeah, now, new. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. After your presentation, I started walking around the show floor that night. I'm like, oh. That's what that little box is, because the machines are getting smaller and it's harder to know as they kind of merge into similar hardware platforms. So it's great here so people can bring these things and you can see them, and they're not perfect. There's a huge variation in terms of the experience. And Marketplace, I want something that's absolutely the same but modern. Now you're talking re-Amigas. You're talking about the work that Stefan Nordlander and Mr. A are doing, right? I want something that's pushing the edge. It's going to catch on fire. Now you're getting into the ARM boards and the FPGA. So it is a fascinating time. You've been coming for a while now, 12 years, I think, more.
Since 2010 was the first.
14 years. And you missed a couple.
I missed because of COVID.
COVID.
I came on the stream.
On the stream, yes. And it was when I recall when you first came in 2010, we were in pretty good shape, and then it kind of like nosedived in terms of exhibitors and interest and everything, and it's just picked back up.
Well, I think was the spark for that.
What's that?
2015, things like the Computer History Museum, the Amiga 30 show, the one in Amsterdam, the one in Germany, the one in the UK. Suddenly there was a sort of a spark and revival, and I think it's continued from there.
And I mean, people being locked in their homes helped too, because they dusted off their Amigas, they started doing stuff. But yes, yeah, I agree. And one of the things I realized is this show, we don't have as much news as we had in the past, because there's so many other shows. There's so many other opportunities and venues for people to talk about what's new and what's coming and to show things off. When we go back to 2015, or before, 2014, there wasn't a lot out there. It was like this and a couple other smaller events around the world. So
I mean, Amiga Germany, right? There was no Amiga Germany.
Right.
There was no Kickstart UK or Kickstart 01. Although the 2015 version was a charity event, a small charity event, was fantastic, and it brought a lot of people in. And you've got there's groups in the UK like the Southwest Amiga Group. User groups have popped up everywhere.
Yeah.
There's new user groups in the UK.
Wow.
I was amazed when I went to the Kickstart 02 in Nottingham that the number of new user groups that started up.
That's fantastic. In average, we don't have any user. AMUC doesn't count. We don't have user groups anymore. We used to, well, that's actually not true. I take it back. Duncan here from Togo. We have one other user group kind of at the show promoting.
I suppose SAC is a user group.
SAC is a user group.
Which run the show.
But if we go back a few years, I think we had like AMUC and PAC and a few other groups coming in, and energy has sort of died off, and now we're more into the folks who are soldering things and really into the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts of it all.
I mean, one disadvantage in the States is it's a big place.
Big place.
Yeah, so I mean, getting people together is not always easy. You have to make a real effort. In Europe, there's a Dutch user group, there's a Belgian user group, and they meet up.
Yep, all the time.
And to be honest, they're not far apart either.
Yes, you can get on the train 4 hours later, you're there.
Not even 4 hours. I mean, there's a part of Europe where...
Well, like Munich to Amsterdam is like a 4 or 5 hour train ride.
In Netherlands, Belgium, or Germany, within 30 minutes.
Yes. People commute through those countries to their jobs in the same country because it's all.
So I think that's a problem. It's not a problem, but that's an issue that in the US is more difficult. There's the distances.
It is a challenge, and we do a lot of other stuff, right? I want to pivot a little bit and talk about the 1222 plus. Right. Since you're here and we're presenting, you have Amidia in France. Is the distributor. The systems are out now. You sold 2 boards here instantly, which was great to see.
It should have been more. I should have bought more, but such is life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll put you on the spot. Like, how do you see the next year, the next couple years, in terms? Because we talked about this last time. Someone said, "Are you going to make more?"
We are going to make more.
You are going to. Has that been announced yet?
I mentioned it yesterday morning.
Okay.
Yeah, in my introduction. But yes, I've just put a down payment on the next batch of boards.
I'm giving him an Amiga hug for the group. Thank you, sir. So you got to buy them.
Yeah.
You've been using a board for a little while. I horse traded for one. It's. Take the past away, like where we are from like the 1222 birth process, the plus birth process. It's definitely further along than the X5000 was in that era of its life.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it took a long time to get out. So
it did. But in the OS matured a little bit. But it is further along in polish. I do want to see more activity. Obviously, it needs more of the developer side. But if people are on the fence about getting an OS4 machine, yes, it's steeper than anybody wants it to be. But it is a very good entry vector into the OS4 universe. And we're seeing more and more SPE code become available, so you can get that accelerated experience.
Thanks to the likes of people like Daniel Musner and Huna PowerPC.
Yep.
Great developers. I mean, Daniel's been kind of a champion with nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
He'd created his SP versions of some of his games. He hadn't added sound because sound didn't work on his card, because now we know it was dating back to an exec SG problem. Easily solved, and it works great. But so he started to put sound and SPE to all of his games, and he's posted things on the internet saying it's a really fast machine.
Yeah.
And with the right SPE formulated games, it outperforms anything out there. Really, it really performs well.
It does. It does. Yeah, it's definitely a nice little package. I mean, I love my X5000. I'm not going to give that up.
No, I love my X5. Don't get me wrong. I love my X5000. But I don't know. Is it the size? It makes me feel like I'm using a little Amiga again. It's weird.
It is weird. Yeah, it helps to have it in a checkmate case.
Oh yeah. I tell you what.
It does help.
There's 2 sides of the checkmate case. There's the big one which you've got.
Yes.
You filled it every space as you could.
I could.
But the A1222 plus board in that case is dwarfed usually.
Yes.
But the smaller checkmate case, if you're looking for just a really neat little machine with something you put a monitor on the top, it's excellent. And I've got mine in a small checkmate case.
Yes.
So well done, Steve Jones, for the cases. They're excellent.
No, it's a great point. And I was thinking that we should do a case competition next year and see people do like a judging table, go around, and maybe we'll see. So appreciate that you're going to run more A1222s. Obviously, that's not going to be commercially available this year, but it does mean that if you're buying...
But we still have boards from the first run.
Right.
So, but they are selling, which is good.
It's good.
So these will probably be available towards the end, because we get them made. They go to A-Cube. A-Cube do the bring up of the boards, make sure there's, some might go back. The second run will have everything fitted. That should have been fitted the first run.
Okay.
Because they missed off the internal headers.
I see. So they've improved their pick and place.
Yeah.
Got it.
They missed off because the original plan they had, we said, don't forget the internal headers, they need to be on. And a chip that goes with them. And they did, they missed them.
Okay, of course.
But, these things happen.
So one of the things the A1222 has, and the Plus, is those GPIO ports. And we talked about Xena on the X5000 for a lot. Kind of had a slow start. I know Lyle was doing a bunch of drivers, but it had some challenges. Are you seeing anything in the pipeline to take advantage of the GPIO?
Well, that was Matthew's baby. He wanted that there because he thought that was because he loves little add-ons.
Yes.
So you really need to ask Matthew the question because he's the one that really controls that side.
Okay.
But I think it goes back to his days of using an Amiga 1200.
Clock port.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
And that's what he saw as a use for.
So I would say, as a word of advice, let's find something that can use that, because we're crazy, we'll buy it if you build it, and it's just another thing to like energize, and who knows what's going on, what you get out of it.
I know,
right?
I mean, you see the work that's been done on those accelerator boards.
Yes, phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to fit one of those suckers in that machine to accelerate 68K apps. Whatever. I mean, it's amazing, but that would be cool. So we talk about the 1222 Plus. You're always a what's next kind of person. So do you feel that, like, what next is getting sooner?
Obviously, I'm not going to say what's next.
I can't I'm not asking. I didn't ask what it is.
Yes, I do think, yes.
Okay.
There's several things going on in our cooperation with Amiga Kit. And I think there's some exciting things coming forward. I'm a next. Okay, when I say next generation guy, I love my 4000. Sorry, my 5000.
Watched the video of your man cave, if I can call it that Robert filmed for an hour and 25 minutes. You love all that. You can't pick out. It's like your children. You can't pick one over the other.
You have these phases where, I think I'll use AROS on this little machine for a while. It's good fun. I like this new version of MorphOS. I can play with that. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. And then
in your own house.
Yeah, by the house. And then of course you've got the mini mix.
Yes.
The Vampire board, the Vampire standalone. You've got the C64 Mini. The A500 Mini, and the C64 Mini as well.
Right.
And the Maxi. So I'm a bit of a nut, really.
You didn't answer the question.
What do I like? I like my PowerPC.
Okay. So, software. You've done a lot to try to generate that ecosystem. We give you flack about LibreOffice. I mean, everything you do is 100% good intention, running into the wall of reality. Is there, browser aside, big ticket item, is there anything else that you would like to see? Do you want to inspire anyone listening who's a software developer to say, I'll help you build that, we'll get that on our platform?
Well, Steve had said that yesterday when we had a question after the morning talk. Someone asked about LibreOffice, can we make it available on GitHub? Steve put out a call for assistance for developers. So we really would like to get some more real help with that. I'm going to make it open source anyway. It's cost me a lot of money supporting that for about how many years now? A lot, right?
I think I have children that are younger.
Yes, possibly. The trouble is things change. So we produce a version, or versions produced, which works, but really OS4 needs to have something else to make it better. That changes, the build changes. It's a massive project. It's more than a one-man project, and we have one man working on it part-time, but every month, part-time for the last how many years?
I mean, one thing I'll suggest...
And that's paid.
And paid. One thing I'll suggest, and I know George has probably been listening to the stream, and Amiga Labs, and they've done some incredible work. And, oh God, who does the new C-Lib?
Is it not Ryan?
No, the new C-Lib stuff.
Yes, sorry. I can't remember his name.
Live for It and AFX Graphics. I mean, these guys are doing phenomenal low-level code. I don't have the skills to pull this off, but build a roadmap. build an understanding of not get into the LibreOffice source code and go understand how to go build a modern word processor, but what are the modules that need to be there that could be cross-compiled by a knowledgeable person?
Yeah, well, we were discussing this actually a couple of years ago, weren't we, at Amiwest, and it was Steve and Kevin Wong.
Yeah.
And that's basically what George and his team are doing.
It is, but you're asking for help. Come to my house and help me move is not a good way to get there. No. Come to my house for pizza, and then when you get there, move that box is a lot easier. I'm just saying, make it a smaller problem.
Yes, well, that's what Steve would like to do as well, because we need to get it piecemeal, get it out.
Right.
I mean, the benefit, which is not really a benefit, is really if you're an Amiga OS 4 guy, is you can run all these things on Linux on your same hardware.
Right.
But that you really want to do it under OS 4 because it's so much smoother and nicer experience.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, if I just wanted to get something done, I wouldn't be doing this.
Yes, true. Yeah.
It's the journey part of the life.
Look, you made a good point, and it's one thing
Yeah.
that one of the things that Steve and I have been talking about is what's next. How do we, what is the thing that we do need a browser, right? Actually, iBrowse is actually really nice, but it doesn't do all the things you want to do.
Right.
And Odyssey. It's
just getting older. It's just getting older.
But it's not really been updated.
It can't be. Yeah.
Casey did a great job in what he did.
Yes.
But we need to move on.
We do, but it's going back to if you're going to build a browser, you need libcrypto, or whatever it's called. The LibreOffice needs libcrypto as well. Libcrypto requires like 40 other dependencies, and we have some spot. I don't know. Someone can comment on it, but we have some subset of that.
Yes, and of course the browser that George and his team are working on is based on those underlying
same pieces.
Yeah.
So like, let's get that out there. Like you have a developer. Tell them to go figure that part out. Like, what is the dependency tree? Write a game software so we can launch it, and it's like one of those resource trees. It's like, okay, you'll be level 55 if you can get all these libraries together. We got to make it more engaging.
Well, there are discussions going on behind the scenes about how we progress from here. Not just with all the people that have a stake in the Amiga as we know it.
Right. Well, that's another part too. Like the cross compilation. Bringing them on a browser. If there's a modern browser that came to OS 4 and OS 3X, or whatever the heck it's going to be, I mean, that would be pretty spectacular.
It would be, yeah.